In this video, we're still working on the Chapter 3 homework project. It's your EOC file. And in this video, we're going to create a 3D pie chart and make a few changes to the pie chart. So, on your homework instructions, number 3, it tells you to create a 3D pie chart, and the ranges it wants you to use are A5 to A9 and F5 to F9. So we want to go to A5 to A9. We want to click in A5 and we want to highlight down through A9. Then we want to push down our control key. We want to go over and highlight F5 through F9. Then you can let go of your control key. Then we want to go to our Insert tab. We want to go to Pie because it tells us to create a pie chart. And we want to go to the first one under the section that says 3D pie. So we're going to click on that one and it inserts your pie chart. Now in instruction 4 it tells you to move the pie chart to a new sheet. So up in the right hand corner of your ribbon there should be a button that says move chart. We want to click on that. We want to move it to a new sheet, so we're going to click in front of new sheet up there, and right now it says chart 1, but that's highlighted. We want to rename that, so in that box we want to type Public Works Summary Chart and hit OK. And when you do that, it moves it to a new sheet. Once you have it on the new sheet, it tells you to add a title above the chart. So up in your chart tools, we want to click on the Layout tab. And on the Layout tab, to the left of center, you'll see a button that says Chart Title. We want to click Chart Title. It tells us it wants it above the chart, so we're going to click Above Chart. And then we can just type in what we want for the title. And in your instructions, number 4, it tells you 2016, Public Works Cost of Operations. Make sure you spell it correctly, unlike your instructor. 2016 Public Works Cost of Operations. And hit enter, and then it puts it in the title. The next thing it tells you to do is to change the font size of the title. So your title's still selected. You can go to your Home tab. For your font size, we want to change it to font size 28. So we want to go down, select 28, and that increases the size of your title. The next thing it tells us to do, number 5, it tells us to remove the legend from the pie chart. The legend is over here on the right. If you click on it, right click and click delete, it takes off your legend. Then it tells us we want to add data labels in the center of the pie slices. So to do that, we want to click on a pie slice, and when you do that, it should put little circles around each of the pie slices. That means the entire pie is selected. We want to right click. We want to do Add Data Labels. Now it'll add the labels. We can click on those labels, then right click again and do Format Data Labels. And when we do that, it brings up our Format Data Labels dialog box. Right? For the labels, it tells us that we only want to show category names and percentages. So we want to come up here and we want to click on category name. We want to click on value to take it out. We want to click on percentage to add it, and we want to click on show leader lines to take that out. So when you finish up there under label options, you should only have category name and percentage selected. And then it tells us in our instructions that it wants the labels positioned in the center of the slices. So for our label position, we want to do center, and we want to close our Format Data Labels dialog box. So when you do that, you should have labels with the name, the category name, and the percentage in each of the labels, in each piece of the pie. Right? Labels are still selected. It wants us to change them to bold, and it wants us to italicize them, and it wants us to change the font size of the labels to 12. So we're going to come up here, we're going to change the font size to 12. and we're going to click bold, and we're going to click italics. And that changes each of the labels so that they're size 12 font, they're bold, and they're italicized. The next thing it tells us to do in number 6 is apply a circle bevel shape effect to the pie chart. So we want to click off of our labels. We don't want to select the labels when we do this. Right? So we have our pie selected again. And again, if you look, you'll see the little circles around each piece of pie. We want to right click and we want to do Format Data Series. Right? When we do that, we want to go down to 3D Format on our dialog box. And for the top and the bottom, it tells us to apply a circle bevel effect. So we want to click the top. We want to go to the first one under bevel, which is circle. Then we want to click bottom, and we want to go to the first one under bevel, which is circle. And then it tells us they want the top bevel to have a height and width of 256. So up here for the top, we want to do 256 as the width and 256 as the height. And then for the bottom, the instructions tell us that we want a height and width of 50. So for bottom, we want to change the height and the width to 50. Right? It also tells us in instruction number 6 that it wants the surface material of the chart to be metal. So down here under material, we want to click the arrow, and the last one under standard is metal. So we want to click metal, and then we want to close. And it changes the way our pie chart looks. It looks more like a disc now. Right? Number 7, it tells us to change the angle of the first slice to 50. Right? We want to make sure we still have our pie selected. Right? We want to right click. Now I have to go back because I selected just one piece. We want to make sure we have the whole pie selected so you can see your circles around it. There we go. The circles look a little bit different now. They're on the outside, but they're all around it. So once we have the whole pie selected again, we want to right click, Format Data Series. Our Format Data Series dialog box opens, and you can see under Series Options it says Angle of First Slice. You can use this little slide to change it to 50. So you can do it that way. Or, if you'd rather, you can just click in the box here and type 50. Either way will work. Probably typing in the box is easier. Right? And it also tells us to change the fill color of the chart area to a different color. So for our Format Series dialog box, we change the angle of the first slice. Let's close that. Then we can go up to our Layout tab, and we can use our Chart Elements button to select the chart area. So over on the left, again, we're on the Layout tab. Over on the left, there's a box there with an arrow next to it. That's our Chart Elements box. We want to click the arrow there, and we're going to click Chart Area, because in number 8 it tells us to change the fill color of the chart area. So once we select Chart Area, we want to click Format Selection, which is right underneath it. And for the fill, it tells us we want a solid fill. We want to go down to our color button, and we want to change it to Aqua Accent 2. And that will be the 6th column over, very first one. Click on that, close, and you'll see that it changes the complete chart area to that aqua color. Last thing it tells us to do, and this is to the chart, it tells us to insert a text box, right, that's positioned on the outside upper corner of the administration pie slice. And then it tells us how tall and how wide it wants us to be. So we're going to go Insert, come over here to Text Box, click on it, and then we'll have to take our mouse and we'll have to draw it. Alright, it says the upper outside corner of the administration slice. So we're going to click there. It's going to put in a text box. Alright, we want to type in that text box, administration expense to increase by 3%. Right? We still have the text box selected. We've got to change the size of it. So we're going to go up under Drawing Tools, click our Format tab. Over on the right, the first button there is the height, and it will tell you if you put your mouse over it. So the height, it tells us it wants it to be 0.5. So we've got to use our arrows to go down to 0.5, or you can just type in 0.5. And then for the width, it tells us it wants it 1.68. So I'm going to do 1.68 in that box and hit enter. Now, if it goes over the edge, don't worry about it. Just leave it that way. This box is still selected, right? It tells us that it wants the font size changed to 10.5. So let's click on the outside edges. Right now they're dashed lines of your text box. We want to click on it to make it a solid line. And then we want to go to our Home tab, go to our font size, and we want to click 10.5. And again, if it runs over your chart over the edge of your chart, that's alright. Just leave it that way. Now, go ahead and hit save. And that's your pie chart. If you have any questions, please let me know.